I'm with Meinl since 11 years now, and I'm still inspired by them. It means a lot for me, or I think any artist, that when he has an idea, that he can manifest it in some way, and that's what Meinl does for me on the cymbal side. They do what I expect them to do, and sometimes even more, and I get inspired by that. I'm very particular about that stuff, so I worked with them on my sounds, and I just now have a palette that I can paint with, kind of, that does exactly what I expect, and I can really, it's like a well-oiled machine. I can steer in the directions I want to, and it does everything I wish for, and it's just a great feeling to be able to use that, and on the other side, don't worry about it anymore. So I'm really at home now with these sounds, and it's just a joy to play it. It's to sound serious, I would say. I mean, the sand ride is right up there because to find a very good ride cymbal is I think usually the hardest task, and so the sand ride is the perfect combination between crashability, definition, a good bell, but still wash and you know. So I think it's the most versatile ride that I know, and I love it. Second best would be the hi-hat. I mean, if I only had the hi-hat and the crash, I could do all the gigs I do, because the hi-hat is, of course, doing the hi-hat stuff, and the ride I can also use as a crash, and it does all that stuff. So, I mean, with those two cymbals, I would be happy. So, I don't really remember what triggered me. I just started to play when I was 6 years old, and I just loved it. I always thought drums are the most important, or not the most important, but the coolest instrument. I just felt attracted to it, so I got a drum set, or I convinced my grandparents to get me a drum set when I was 6, and since then I was playing. First without a teacher, but yeah, still love it. I just always loved to do it as much as I could, and then it was just a thing when it was like school is over, what do you want to do? It seemed like the logical step to do. It's like, hey, let me try that, because I'm doing this all the time anyway. So let's try to see whether that works. I always try to work on my pulse and time, because no matter what I practice, that's always a part of it, because it's a how subject. So even if I practice on technique or coordination things or repertoire, I always then go over and see whether the time is nice, and I feel the pulse and also sound. So time and sound would always be two qualities that I constantly refine and constantly go over, because I don't want to get some new repertoire and that might not sit as well. Because some drummers accepted that when they get some new stuff, it's not as nice as the old stuff, right? It just needs time. No, I think it has to be a focus while practicing, that you get new stuff and then you get it to a level where it's as nice as the old stuff. So, if that makes any sense. A little embarrassing, so I don't want to say it. I would say it's a mistake. We played with moving parts at a club once, and I mean, Moving Parts is a quite powerful band, but we have a couple of pieces that are very, very quiet. We are very dynamic. So it is a jazz band, kind of, so we rely on that people listen. And I don't demand a lot from the audience, just that they listen. They don't have to like it. They don't have to stay at the gig. But if they are there, either they listen or they can go. And there were two drunk people who didn't think that way, and one guy just was screaming all the time. And not only did it piss me off, but everyone in the location. And I tried to get his attention and be like, hey, come on. And I couldn't even get his attention. Like, the whole club looked at him, I looked at him, waving at him, and he was so like screaming around. So I took my stick and threw it at him. And I didn't really mean to, like, but my aim was better than I thought, and I hit him with the stick. I regret it afterwards. I mean, I came up to him afterwards and apologized, and he apologized, so it was all good. But I think it's something that I don't wanna do. It's really not me. But so I regret it, and I'm sorry for it. But that's the most embarrassing thing I ever did. Richard Spaven.
Really?
Yes. The groove aesthetic that he has is something that I'm working on right now, and I'm not ashamed to say that like this is a kind of repertoire that I want to add to mine, and he's very secure, very experienced in that style, and I actually looking forward, because we talked about meeting and exchanging ideas and jamming together, and I'm really looking forward to that because I'm really a fan and I'm looking forward to that. I absolutely love his playing. I think the most important thing for me is making things interesting without making them complicated. And this is a very rare combination, because normally when people make something interesting, they make it more complicated, they make it more complex, they make it more. And I'm working in my playing to make things interesting, different, unique, without making them more notes or complicated that no one understands. So I want to be able to play with my band moving parts where drummers come and enjoy it, but they can also bring their girlfriends and they will enjoy it. So that's why I want to play music that people can enjoy. And if you want to think about it, that it's interesting too, even on that level, but that it's both. That's why I love Richard. I think he does a good job at this. I think for me the job today is because it's the only band that plays and I'm the last guy who plays. So, and it's the first time that I'm allowed to play with my band, and it doesn't happen that often, so it's a privileged position anyway. So I want to make the best use of this and play the best music I can. And I also feel that my role is a little bit, after all these great drummers, the lineup is insane. Like I think my part then is like, okay, let's play with the band and now let's celebrate this festival. Because we're closing the festival, let's just celebrate how great this all was and how great this all is. And I will offer two choices in the beginning. I will tell the people like in the Matrix with the blue pill and the red pill. It's like, either this is the dark side of the Force. You can sit there and be like, that's this kind of, and then now they go into a 7/8, and now they, he's playing this, he's playing this. That's the dark side of the Force. Or you can take the other pill and just listen to music, even if you are a drummer. And I will say that in the beginning, and I hope that people will join me on the music listening thing, and then it will be great. Oh, that's a tough question. Only 3? People should have 300 records. See, that's the kind of a question I have to say. When I'm in the hotel later, I will do, how could I have forgotten this one or that one? So I will just say what comes to mind now, okay? So one is, and since I only have 3 albums, I allow myself to choose the best of kind of thing, so you get the most out of it. So I would say Best of the Police. I would say Keith Jarrett Cologne concert. And the third one, oh man, maybe Beatles Revolver. Oh, yeah. Really? I mean, I had a strong fusion phase and I love fusion, but if I listen actually more to stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, the next one would have been Miles Davis and stuff like that, but since it's only 3, I'm actually more pop influenced than I am jazz influenced. When I get home, I will actually listen through all the material from the Moving Parts tour, select a couple of tracks. We recorded all the tour, and hopefully at the end of summer there will be this live record out from Moving Parts Live. Well, I have some other educational things in the pipeline, but nothing I want to talk about now. Because my style always is, let me work on it, let me get my stuff. I can only promise you, I'm always working, I'm always preparing something, and you will hear about it when it hits. I mean, I'm still doing a lot of promotion for the Art and Science of Groove. I try to, that everyone knows that is out and that is a good thing, and so I will keep promoting that a little. But I always have a couple of other things in mind, but they also will need a little bit more time. I mean, the Art and Science of Groove took 7 years, so you have to be patient. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Trust yourself and also work on the how, not only the what. Just as an antidote to what's happening, there is so much education out on YouTube and in online offerings that you sometimes think the subjects where there's most information out, that is the most important. So you almost have, by quantity of material, you have a priority list of what you have to do. Oh, so that is what's everyone talking about, so that must be the first thing that everyone, and that is, you never hear about this, so it might not be that important. And I would encourage you to be your own Google and be like, okay, this is all this material out there, and I make my own priority list. I listen to my playing and I decide what I want to work on next and what I need the most. And it might be something that you not find any YouTube video about, or you don't find, or people will be like, what? Huh? But it's maybe the most important thing that will be the next step for you. So I would be very careful with deciding on what you work on and steer your ship yourself. There's only one direction where you can let it roll, which is downhill, right? So if you change your playing all the time anyway. Like, you change, your body changes, your relationship changes, everything changes anyway. Change is automatic. People say, I want to change my drumming. Don't worry about that. In a week you will play different. Better or worse, I don't know, but you will play different. And change is automatic, but progress is not. Of course you have to practice a lot, and of course you have to work a lot, but you also have to do some planning and be like, where am I? Where do I want to go? What are the best exercises, the best tools for that? So also take some time for that. That would be my recommendation, and I wish you a lot of fun. And thanks for listening.